I never thought I'd become the kind of guy who sat frozen at a coffee shop, gripping a cold Americano, stomach churning like a storm because of words spoken less than 3 feet from me. Words that came from the woman I'd loved for nearly 3 years. That day, Stillhouse Roasters in downtown Charlotte was as busy as usual. I was tucked away in the darkest corner where the light barely let me read my laptop screen. I had earbuds in but no music playing. I just needed that fake sense of silence to focus on the report for tomorrow morning's meeting. What I didn't expect was that this quiet corner would become the place where everything I believed in would begin to collapse. A familiar high-pitched laugh made me look up. I couldn't see them, but I recognized Lana's voice. My girlfriend, along with her two close friends, Denise and Tara. They were sitting right behind me, hidden by a low wooden divider. She didn't see me. Probably didn't think I'd be there on a Saturday morning. "You're really gonna do it?" Denise asked, her voice low but not low enough for a crowded space. Lana chuckled. A laugh I'd never heard from her before, cold as ice. "Of course. Jeff's about to propose, I'm sure of it. He's been browsing engagement rings all week, but honestly, it doesn't matter. As long as he kneels down, that's enough. I'm going to laugh in his face right there in front of everyone and disappear with Aiden." I froze. Aiden? That name had popped up casually in her recent stories. The coworker from the creative department, the guy who kept liking her bikini photos on Instagram. I'd asked before and she'd said, "Oh, just a friendly colleague." 3 years, though, Tara whispered. "Don't you feel even a little guilty?" Lana sighed like the question was ridiculous. "What's there to feel guilty about? I didn't spend his money." "Well, actually, I did," she laughed. "The lease is under his name, I only pay utilities. The rest? Saving for my Mexico trip with Aiden next week. Flights and resort are booked." I don't remember exactly when my hands started shaking. I kept a straight face and quietly raised my phone to start recording. Every word Lana said felt like a knife straight to the chest. "What if he doesn't propose?" Tara asked, voice lower now. "Are you kidding? I've been dropping pics of cushion-cut rings from Garrison Jewelers all week. Every night it's marriage talk, beach weddings. He's completely hooked on the fantasy. He's going to do it on my birthday at Eden Restaurant, right in front of our friends. And I'll blow it all up." I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. Eden, the restaurant I'd booked 3 days ago. The place where I planned to ask the woman I thought I'd marry to spend her life with me. Denise burst out laughing. "My God, Lana, you're Not evil," Lana smirked. "Just someone who knows what she wants. And Jeff, he's too predictable." I didn't confront them. I didn't yell or cause a scene like in some melodramatic movie. I just sat there, staring into the black screen of my laptop, heart pounding as something inside me burned away. I left the cafe without anyone noticing, but Lana's words kept echoing in my head like a declaration of war. This wasn't love anymore. It was a game, and I had made up my mind I wouldn't fall into the trap she laid. I'd strike back in a way she'd never see coming. I got back to the apartment just before noon, still holding the audio file I had just saved. Lana wasn't home. She'd said she was shopping with Denise all afternoon and might crash at her place. I used to trust those words without question. Now I noted every syllable, every timestamp. I started with the easiest spot, my old phone that Lana once borrowed when hers cracked. I had never removed my iCloud from it. It took 10 minutes to recover access. The results didn't surprise me. The photo album was filled with shots in sports cars I don't own, cocktails at places I've never been, and a mystery guy's tattooed arm, Rise, on the inner wrist. Sneaking into multiple frames, I typed in the name, Aiden. That night, I created a new Instagram account, fake name, fake photo, a catchy bio, and a few bot followers. I followed Denise and Tara, both accepted within hours. Their stories were mostly brunch pics and quotes, until a few recent ones stopped me cold. Lana leaning her head on Aiden's shoulder at some rooftop party. The shot lasted seconds, but the silver promise ring I'd given her last Christmas sparkled on her finger. I stared at it, not because of its cost, but because she was still wearing it while resting against another man like I didn't exist. The next day, I met Daniel, a longtime colleague, for a drink near the financial district. While chatting, I casually asked, "Hey, you know anyone named Aiden from King and Hale?" Daniel paused a beat, then nodded. "Yeah, strategy department. Heard he got suspended once for dating someone on his team." I just smiled, but the picture was getting clearer. On Thursday, Lana told me she'd be stuck in meetings until 9 p.m. I nodded, smiled, and booked a one-person table at Mexicanos 2 blocks from her office. I arrived early, picked a seat in the corner where I could see everything. At exactly 7:12 p.m., Lana walked in with Aiden, hand in hand. She wore the black dress I'd bought for our 2-year anniversary. We sat close, ordered the dishes I knew she loved. Aiden leaned in, said something. Lana giggled, tilted her head, and wiped sauce off his chin with a napkin. I hit record, not to listen, but to keep evidence that every sweet word she once gave me was now meant for someone else. I got home almost an hour before she did. When she walked in, the scent of a different cologne clung to her clothes. She claimed she was exhausted from work. I asked playfully, "Did you eat anything?" She answered, "Starving. Just had a protein bar today." I didn't react, just followed up, "You free this weekend, or hanging out with the girls again?" She laughed. No, this weekend's for you." I nodded. "Good, because I'm planning something special." She beamed like someone who thought they had already won, unaware that the real game was just beginning. 2 days later, I told her I had to go visit my mom in Asheville. She had a cold. Truth was, I took leave from work to gather everything: photos, recordings, messages, all backed up in 3 places, including a separate hard drive, cloud storage, and a private email account. I went to the bank, quietly withdrew all my contributions from our joint account, and moved it into an account under my name. She thought I was too naive to notice the small things. But every strange expense, every just grabbing flowers withdrawal, I now had justification to act. I ordered a duplicate of the exact engagement ring box from the brand she kept sending me. Inside, there was no ring, only a letter, photos of her and Aiden, messages with her friends, and a final handwritten line. "If this is a game, you picked the wrong opponent." The plan was ready. She thought she was writing a tragicomedy. What she didn't know was no one would be applauding. Lana always thought she was in control, from the romance to the scheme to publicly humiliate me, but that confidence is exactly what exposed her. And me? I just stood back, watched, then moved at the exact right moment. After my visit home, I returned to Charlotte with a light smile, like nothing had ever happened. Lana greeted me with a long hug and the usual question, "Did you miss me?" I smiled back, "A lot, but now I miss something else more." She laughed, clueless that I was talking about flipping the entire board she thought she owned. On Monday morning, I started clearing out, not the apartment, but my presence. One day at a time, a few clothes, some books, documents, my camera, hard drive. Everything moved into a new place I'd already leased in South End, 7 minutes away by car. It was under my name, prepaid for 6 months. I picked a high floor, soundproof walls, and only Daniel knew the address. Lana didn't notice any changes. She kept texting Denise about the white dress that needs altering for the big night, still posted stories hinting at her dream ring, still played the role of the loving girlfriend, ordering pizza and cuddling up for movie nights. On Wednesday afternoon, I went to Somerset Jewelers, the place Lana had sent me links from. I didn't buy a ring. I just asked them to pack a display box exactly like the one she wanted, small, square, cream-colored, with an embossed logo. Inside, instead of a sparkling diamond, was a letter. I had written over 3 sleepless nights. Next to it, a USB drive holding all the evidence, the audio recording from Stillhouse, the video of her kissing Aiden at Mexicanos, screenshots of Instagram stories, and messages from my old phone. I chose a handwriting-style font, printed each line on textured paper, sealed the letter with deep red wax, and folded it like a formal invitation. At the top of the page, in bold, was the line, "To the one who thinks she's running the game." On Friday night, Lana made dinner at home, opened wine, and put on some jazz, my favorite. She was sweet to the point it almost got to me. Then my eyes caught her iPad on the kitchen counter, still lit with a chat message. It's definitely happening Saturday. He's so ready. Aiden, I'll call you right after it's done. I took a deep breath and kept my tone calm. What do you want to eat before we head to Eden tomorrow? Mm-hmm. I might skip food to save room. I'll probably need an empty stomach for everything that's about to go down, she said with a smirk and a wink. I nodded. Then I'll handle the surprise. On Saturday morning, I woke up early and texted Daniel to help me move a few last boxes to the new apartment. I scheduled the moving service for Sunday morning, right after the truth would be out. The joint account had already been emptied, the card she used was reported and frozen. Even the car she often drove under my name had been relocated to a private garage, and I held the only new key. I picked a navy blue suit with a wine-collared tie. The outfit Lana once said made me look like a TV drama lead. When I arrived to pick her up, she was glowing in an off-shoulder white dress, light makeup, and eyes full of expectation. "You're making me nervous," she laughed as I opened the car door. "Wait till we're seated," I replied, slipping the ring box into my inner jacket pocket, feeling my pulse shift with the weight of it. Eden was lit in warm gold tones, and our table was by the window overlooking the city skyline. Lana glanced around, scanning every corner as if expecting hidden cameras to capture her big moment. Denise and Tara were already at the bar behind us. I spotted Aiden, lingering at a distance, pretending to look over the menu. Dinner was quiet. Too quiet. Under the table, tension crackled. Lana sat proudly, but her eyes kept darting. I poured her wine and raised my glass. "To tonight," I said. "And to what's coming," she replied, lips curling like someone who thought she'd already won. I smiled. "Exactly. But not just yet. I'm saving the best part for dessert." Her eyes lit up like a kid waiting for Christmas. She had no idea this gift would turn her entire world to dust. When the waiter brought dessert, Lana glanced at me for the third time in under a minute, lips tight around her smile, barely masking her restlessness. She was clearly counting down. Half excited for a proposal, half eager to deliver the final blow she'd rehearsed with such glee. I leaned forward, elbows on the table. "I've got something to say," I began, voice low but clear enough for nearby tables to tune in. Lana sat up straight, smoothed her hair, hand grazing mine like she was preparing for the perfect photo. I pulled the ring box from my pocket but didn't place it down. I held it. Her face lit up like she'd just hit the jackpot. I let her inch close to that peak, then ripped it away. "Lana," I said, "you once told me I was the most dependable man you'd ever met. That after everything, you wanted a future with someone like me." She nodded, hand over heart, feigning emotion. I smiled. "That's why, tonight, I'm giving you a special gift. Something that perfectly reflects our relationship and the truth behind it." I opened the box. There was no ring. Instead, a folded letter, carefully sealed, beside a USB drive. Lana's brow furrowed for a moment. Then she forced a laugh. "What is this? A joke?" Her voice was light, but her eyes had started to twitch. I didn't answer. I pulled out my phone, connected it to a small Bluetooth speaker hidden in my jacket, and hit play. Lana's voice filled the restaurant. "I'll let him kneel in front of everyone, then laugh in his face. Aiden already booked our flight to Mexico. Jeff is nothing but a walking wallet." A wave of murmurs swept through the room. Lana went pale. She lunged for my phone, but I stood, calmly stepping back. "You wanted it public," I said clearly. "Then this is your gift. In front of everyone who trusted you, stood by you, and thought you were the perfect girlfriend." I turned to Denise and Tara, seated 3 tables away. "Did you know, or were you just extras invited to film the big moment?" Denise's mouth dropped open, hand trembling as she reached into her purse. Tara stared down at her lap, lips pressed tight. I continued. "Aiden, if you're here," I said toward the bar, "I hope you gave your ex-wife the heads up about Mexico." "Oh wait, are you even divorced?" "Because Lana might be the last to find out." Panic spread across Lana's face. She whipped her head around, then snapped, "Jeff, are you insane? This is private. How dare you?" "I dare because I was the only one in this room who ever believed you were decent." My voice wasn't loud, but every syllable landed. The entire restaurant fell into a hush. The manager approached, eyes torn between professionalism and curiosity. I nodded reassuringly. We'll leave soon. I just need one more minute. I looked at Lana, no longer angry, just hollow. You said you loved me. But it wasn't me you loved. It was the comfort I provided. What you're getting tonight isn't a proposal. It's the last time I'll let you disrespect me. I set the box on the table. Lana stood, knocking over her water glass, voice cracking. You'll regret this. Who do you think you are, humiliating me like this in public? I shook my head. No one humiliated you, Lana. You did that all by yourself. I walked out of Eden while she sobbed and called after me. I didn't turn back. Each step felt lighter than the one before, like I'd finally shed a weight I didn't know I'd been dragging for 3 years. Lana clung to the edge of the table as if it were the last thing keeping her upright. Her lips trembled. After my voice faded, the restaurant was silent except for the soft clink of cutlery in the distance. She looked around, forcing a weak smile at the guests still watching. Don't listen to him, he's crazy. He made it all up, she shrieked, her voice cracking like shattered glass. The manager approached, his expression cautious. Ma'am, please lower your voice. Lana spun toward him, finger pointed. Didn't you hear what he just did? He humiliated me in front of everyone, and you're telling me to be quiet? Ma'am, the manager said gently but firmly, we have many guests. If you can't stay calm, I'll have to ask you to leave. I'm the victim here. He destroyed my reputation, she screamed. I stood with arms crossed, voice steady. Reputation? You threw that away the moment you sent ring photos to your friends while making out with Aiden at Mexicanos. Lana's eyes darted around, desperate for a lifeline. Denise rushed over from the bar but slowed as every head in the room turned toward her. Denise, Lana hissed, tell them. Explain. They don't know anything. Denise froze, her face flushed from pale to beet red. I thought it was just a joke. I didn't think you'd actually go through with it. A joke? I repeated, pulling out my phone and opening the photo album. I held it up toward Denise, showing her the message between Lana and Aiden. He's about to kneel. I bet he's even shaking with emotion. What a fool. Denise took a step back, her arms dropping. Lana stared at her in panic. No. You know I was just venting, right? You said Aiden was hot. You hate Jeff too. I never told you to do this, Denise whispered, then turned and walked away, leaving Lana standing in the middle of the restaurant, dazed and alone. A voice rose from a corner table. April, my former coworker, who once told me how lucky I was to have Lana. She walked over with a few others from our shared friend group. Lana, April said, I used to defend you when people said you were two-faced. Now I see why they thought that. Lana backed into a chair. I turned toward Tara, the last of her close friends, standing across the room gripping her phone. I said, Tara, want to see the rest, or should Lana just forward more to the group chat? Tara swallowed hard. She stepped forward and quietly said, I didn't know it had gone this far. I thought it was her way of blowing off steam. By planning to humiliate the guy she's been with for 3 years? I asked, staring straight at her. She didn't respond. She turned to Lana and shook her head. You really let me down. The click of high heels echoed as Lana screamed, You're all fake. None of you ever understood me. You're all traitors. The manager signaled for security to step in. An older gentleman at a nearby table shook his head in disgust. Lana thrashed as they guided her toward the exit. You'll pay for this, Jeff. You can't humiliate me like this. I turned away, saying nothing. Denise came back to my side, her expression still stunned. I'm sorry, she murmured. I didn't know it was this cruel. She lied to all of us. I simply nodded. Thanks for being honest. I'll handle the rest. She glanced toward the door where Lana had just been taken out, then whispered, Maybe you just saved more people than yourself. I gave a faint smile, not out of satisfaction, but because something had finally clicked. Those who once stayed silent now saw it all. The truth didn't need defenders. It simply rose on its own. I walked out with nothing but my wallet and a strange new lightness. Behind me, the chatter had faded, replaced by the soft clink of wine glasses. Lana's big dinner didn't end with a proposal. It ended with a funeral for the mask she'd worn so well. Just 3 days after that night at Eden, everything began to collapse around Lana. Faster than anyone could have predicted. I wasn't the one who shared the evidence in the group chat, but it was bound to happen. Someone, maybe Tara, maybe Denise, sent the audio recording and screenshots to the Backyard Gang group, where nearly 20 of our old college friends gathered. Within an hour, the chat exploded. Messages flew in nonstop. People who once praised Lana's love story went quiet or turned away. That evening, while I read on my couch in the new apartment, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. A message from Brandon, my high school friend now working as an attorney. "Bro, that clip's everywhere. You good?" Then one from Lisa, the same Lisa who once watched Lana cry and claimed I was cold and controlling. "Jeffrey, I'm sorry I believed everything she said. I had no idea." I didn't respond to them all, just typed a few thank you notes, then set the phone down. No need to say more. The truth had spoken for itself. The next morning, Daniel, who worked at the same company as Aiden, texted, "You hear the news? Aiden just got called into HR. His wife sent all the messages to the higher-ups. Turns out not only did he break company policy, but the real reason he turned down the Dallas transfer was to stay close to Lana." According to Daniel, Aiden left the office in silence, holding a small cardboard box. No one walked him out. But it didn't stop there. That afternoon, Lana showed up at my old apartment, still thinking she had a right to enter. The keypad code had been changed. According to the neighbor, she sat on the steps for nearly an hour, calling my name over and over. When she realized I wasn't coming, she posted an Instagram story. "People can believe whatever they want. I don't owe anyone an explanation. Real friends will understand." She was wrong. 3 hours later, Denise posted a story in response, a screenshot of Lana's message. "As long as he kneels, I'll laugh in his face. Can't wait to see his friends' reactions." Her caption read coldly, "I used to be a friend, but not the kind who laughs at someone else's pain." Tara reposted the audio clip I'd once sent. She tagged Lana directly. No caption, just a clown mask crossed out. Lana went silent for 2 days. But the damage was already beyond repair. One of my friends, who helped organize the community's annual festival, said, "We've removed Lana from her volunteer role. We can't support public deceit like that." I also got a message from Lana's mother. She used to adore me, always sent cookies during the holidays, and checked in whenever Lana visited home. Her message was short. "Jeffrey, I have no excuse for what my daughter did. Her father and I had a serious talk with her. We're truly sorry." I replied, "Thank you, ma'am. I hold no grudge. Please take care of yourself." That evening, I spotted Lana alone in the park near our old place. Hoodie pulled over her head, clutching her phone, eyes swollen like she'd been crying. I didn't approach. Not because I was angry, but because there was nothing left to say. The next day, Lana was removed from every social group she belonged to, including the wedding party for her best friend, April. April wrote bluntly in the group chat, "I can't have someone who planned to publicly humiliate her boyfriend at my most important life event." Lana lost her job, her friends, and the carefully curated relationship she had once bragged about. The people who used to praise her now fell silent, or worse, called her pathetic and fake. That collapse didn't come from a single blow. It was a chain reaction that started the moment Lana believed she could manipulate everyone and never face the consequences. In less than 2 weeks since that fateful dinner at Eden, Lana's life spiraled into something even she couldn't script. Once admired and adored, she became a cautionary tale, whispered about with pity, scorn, and distance. Jason's firing happened just a day after his wife filed the formal complaint with HR. The company they both worked at had strict policies against relationships between superiors and subordinates, rules Lana and Jason blatantly ignored. Worse, the evidence wasn't just word of mouth. There were messages, photos at the office, and flagged expenses from company credit cards tied to their secret getaways. While Jason packed up his things in silence, Lana was summoned to HR. According to someone I knew there, she refused to sign the termination papers. She even accused the company of discriminating against women and being too harsh on those with complex personal circumstances. After nearly 30 minutes of arguing, security had to escort her out of the building. 3 days later, I got a call from a number linked to the management office of the building where Lana used to live. A woman on the line sounded hesitant. Mr. Jeffrey, sorry to bother you, but we just wanted to confirm Lana Matthews is no longer listed on the lease agreement, correct? I confirmed that everything had been settled the week before and the joint bank account had been closed. The woman sighed. Okay, because she didn't pay this month's rent and hasn't replied to any emails. We've already sent the formal notice. It seems she left without providing a forwarding address. From what I later heard, Lana had moved in with her cousin Melissa, who lived in the suburbs of Rock Hill, nearly an hour's drive from Charlotte. Melissa used to post about green living and intentional rest, but had now put all that on hold to take in someone who had lost her job, her income, and her reputation in an entire city. I wasn't trying to track her down or dig into her life, but an old friend from our college group happened to see her at a local grocery store. She was standing in line buying instant noodles and a few frozen meals, dressed in wrinkled clothes, hair messy, and without the usual layers of makeup and polish she once wore. What happened next actually caught me off guard. On Tuesday morning, while I was checking the internal systems at a solar project our company was managing on the west side of town, a loud commotion broke out near the site gate. A coworker rushed in and said there was a woman outside the lot asking for me, causing quite the scene. I walked out and spotted Lana immediately, face flushed red, phone in one hand, some sort of folder in the other. She screamed, "You think you can expose me and then disappear? I've lost everything, my job, my home, my friends, all because of you." I didn't respond. A few workers nearby had stopped what they were doing, some even pulling out their phones to record. Seeing that only made Lana more unhinged. She threw the folder to the ground and pointed at me. "You're cruel. You think you're some kind of hero? Don't think everyone buys your version of the story." I motioned to the shift lead. "Please escort her off-site. This is an active construction zone. No one is allowed in without clearance." Lana shouted in desperation, "I loved you, Jeffrey. You were everything to me. How could you do this to me?" A young female engineer nearby muttered, "What about sleeping with your old boss while still wearing your promise ring?" The entire lot went quiet. Lana froze for a few seconds, then burst into tears. Security arrived and gently ushered her out of the area. That afternoon, a video of the whole incident surfaced in our internal team group and later spread on Facebook. I didn't upload it. But someone from our crew shared it with a caption, "Not everyone who loses everything is a victim. Some people burn it all down and then blame others for the ashes." I read that, then turned off the screen, not because I wanted to avoid Lana, but because I realized this wasn't just about two people anymore. It was the natural result of deceit being dragged into the light. I hadn't planned to go anywhere. Originally, I just wanted to spend a few quiet days alone, finish some books I'd left unfinished, and try to sort through the wreckage in my mind. But that empty ring box sitting silently on the table made me rethink things. It used to symbolize something sacred. Now, the money I'd saved for that ring became a reminder. I still had the right to choose a new beginning. I booked a ticket to Clearwater Beach, Florida, a place that had once made our someday vacation list but never came true. The only difference? I was going alone, no extra baggage, no expectations. Just the sea breeze, quiet moments, and time to let it all settle. On my second afternoon at the resort, while reading poolside, I heard a voice from the table nearby. "Have you read that one yet? I was thinking of buying it, but I'm not sure if it's my style." I looked up and met a pair of warm, brown eyes and a confident smile from a woman in her 30s, her curly hair pulled back neatly. "I'm halfway through," I replied, "but if you like flawed but real characters, it might work for you." She smiled. "Sounds like me," then extended her hand. "Ramona." I shook it. "Jeffrey." We chatted for a bit. She had come to Clearwater to meet up with college friends, but no one was free that evening. When she learned I was traveling solo, she laughed. "So, you're part of the post-drama healing club too?" I nodded, offering no extra details. Ramona didn't press, and her lack of curiosity felt oddly comforting. That evening we had dinner together at a beachfront seafood place. Ramona worked in educational media, sharp, composed, unpretentious. She didn't spend the whole meal glued to her phone, didn't take photos of every dish, and never tried to show off. She spoke slowly, deliberately. Not distant, but thoughtful. Every word made me want to hear more. A week passed in what felt like the blink of an eye. Before heading back to Charlotte, I asked, "If I call after this trip, will that feel too soon?" She raised an eyebrow. "Depends. Are you calling to vent about your ex, or to ask if I'm free Saturday?" I laughed. Definitely the second. We kept in touch. No constant texting like with Lana, just steady, meaningful connection. Ramona returned to Nashville, but once a week we'd FaceTime, sharing little things like a new dish we tried, a cozy cafe, or some awkward work moment. No pressure, no labels, just two grown-ups relearning how to trust and connect. Sadly, that peace didn't last long once Lana found out. One Wednesday afternoon, Ramona texted me. "I just got a message from a strange account. The name is Only Truths for You." She attached a screenshot, a message from Lana, using a fake name, listing fabricated things about me. "The man you're seeing is a manipulator who pushed his ex to the point of needing therapy." I sighed. Same old story. But this time, I didn't feel anxious. I simply replied to Ramona, "Want me to block her for you?" Ramona responded with a short video, the clip of Lana yelling at the construction site, her eyes wild and voice screeching. "Send this back to her, then block," she added. "Maybe she needs a reminder of the truth." That evening, I sat on the balcony, watching the city lights reflect off the windows. I didn't feel angry at Lana anymore, not even hurt. It all felt like a film that had finally ended. The villain left the stage, and I, the one who once fell apart, had rediscovered my rhythm in the silence. Ramona sent a photo. She was standing in a used bookstore, holding the same novel I had been reading by the pool that first day. She wrote, "Finished it this time. Turns out it suited me more than I expected." I stared at her message and texted back, "Just like us." About 2 months after everything ended, I got an unnamed call close to 9 p.m. On the other end was the voice of an older man, deep and slightly shaky. "Is this Jeffrey?" "Yes," I said. "Who's calling?" "This is Lana's father. My name is Thomas. I'm sorry for calling this late, but I can't stay silent anymore." I paused. That name, Mr. Thomas, used to be so familiar. He'd pat my back during holidays, offer me a beer in the backyard during family gatherings. Now, he spoke as if something were stuck in his throat. "I know what happened between you and my daughter," he continued. "Her mother and we listened to the recording. We read the messages. Honestly, I don't recognize her anymore." I swallowed hard, not from emotion, but from a strange sense of relief settling in my chest. I didn't need defenders. I didn't need anyone to speak on my behalf. I just needed acknowledgement. "I'm sorry for what Lana did," he said quietly. "I can't forgive her actions, but I also can't abandon her. Still, I want you to know, if you felt hurt, if you felt humiliated, you have every right to. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." I thanked him. No blame, no long speech. The call lasted less than 10 minutes, but afterward I sat still for a long time. Not to think about Lana, but to finally close a door I had left open in my mind. Around the same time, I heard Lana had left Rock Hill. An old friend told me she was staying temporarily with her aunt in Greenville. No one knew if she had found a new job. Her social media accounts had been deactivated. All the group chats and organizations she used to be part of had removed her. April, who once asked Lana to be her bridesmaid, had just gotten married the week before. At the wedding, no one mentioned Lana. Even Denise and Tara avoided the topic. Not out of spite, but because no one wanted to associate with the stain Lana had created for herself. Her cousin Melissa had posted a short but pointed message. "Sometimes all that's left after everything is the raw truth, and then you have to live with it with no one else to blame." There were no comments from Lana under that post. I didn't feel joy knowing she had been pushed out of the community that once praised her, but I didn't feel regret either. Maybe for someone like Lana, the worst punishment was being forced to face herself. As for me, I was gradually settling into a calmer rhythm. Ramona still called every Thursday night, like a routine that didn't need reminders. She understood I didn't want to talk about the past. and I valued that more than any gift. The new apartment was flooded with sunlight in the mornings and peaceful at night. I had put up a bookshelf again, hung a few photos from Clearwater, including one of me and Ramona standing side by side. No posing, no props, just a simple, honest moment. One weekend afternoon, while going through an old storage box, I came across the ring box, still intact, though everything inside had changed. I opened it, took out the letter I had once written for Lana, and reread every line. There was no pain, no anger. I tore it into small pieces and tossed it into the trash. It was my way of formally ending the story that had haunted me for nearly 3 years. I was no longer the man who once imagined himself kneeling with a proposal. I was the man who had stood up, cleaned up the wreckage, and moved forward. Revenge, in truth, isn't about making someone suffer. It's about being able to smile again, to live with integrity while the other person is devoured by their own choices. I don't hate Lana, I just feel lucky that I finally escaped a relationship where the only honest thing was the lie. Jeffrey's story is a powerful reminder that sometimes loss is the beginning of rebirth. After betrayal, shame, and heartbreak, he didn't respond with hatred, but with clarity, strength, and self-respect. The downfall of a liar was inevitable. The reward for the sincere was freedom and a new beginning with someone truly worthy. In a world full of fakes, it was truth and resilience that helped Jeffrey find himself again. You think about Jeffrey's decision and Lana's ending. Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to follow the channel so you won't miss more real and emotional stories about life, love, and family.